What up, everyone? DJ Nubis here with you on the Temperament podcast, doing another episode of Species Spotlight, where I take a moment to go through my collection of tarantulas and the tarantula hobby that I've collected so far myself, the species that I actually own, and just kind of talk a little bit about them, give some background, little videos about them, whatever I can give you to kind of help you understand why people love the hobby and like why we choose to try different exotic species and old world versus new world, etc. And today we're going to be talking about and I'm terrible with the scientific names, so bear with me, but it's the Phormictopus Atrichomatus, which is the common name is the Red Island Birdeater. And this is basically what they look like. I think this is mainly the females here. I think the males are a bit more bronzish, although I think it can vary a little bit in terms of like just because it's almost like sometimes they have this ability when the lights shined on them to look almost bronzish at one point and also purple, and it's kind of an interesting coloration that they have going on there. Like if you ever seen those cars with the specific paint, and as you look at the cars that's passing by, it changes like from purple to green, the blue, the red, or whatever, and it's the kind of paint they're using. And there's ways this tarantula kind of like that in the light, and it even happens with some other species. So like the sun tiger is generally like a blackish orange for the females, but if you look at certain points with a flashlight or something, you underscore their pads on their feet is like a green neon greenish, and it happens with pink toes and all of them either as well. But pretty wild. So the picture I just showed you weren't the ones that I own, but these ones here. And unfortunately, unless I bring her out to try to like bring her out just in like out of the enclosure, the best I can do is to kind of get the picture through the glass because she's very skittish. Now she's also, and it's probably with a little bit with the bird eaters as it is with this particular species, is that they are sometimes defensive. And with the Red Island Birdeater, there's not a whole lot of information on them as it is, but from what little we do know, they can be a little bit defensive. Even the newest one that I've got that's part of the same genus, the Phormictopus cancerides, they're very good eaters. They're very aggressive eaters, but they are kind of defensive too. Like I've literally almost had the cancerides almost jump out of the box to get to the food. Like it's crazy how aggressive they are with food. So they're not fearful of anything. And even though the Goliath bird eater is like the largest one of the tarantulas of that particular species, these bird eaters will get a little bit larger as well. So here's some of the pictures of Takora, which is mine. And you can see her there, and you can see here she looks like almost bronzish or gold there on the carapace and everything, but then other moments there's a little bit of a purple sheen, and depending on if you're looking straight down at her, but yeah, so even though she in these pictures she looks a little bit more goldish, she does actually have moments where if I just pull her out of the thing and she's sitting out or she's just sitting there and I can see her by eye, she'll have that like purple tinge, which is really what I loved about the species when I got one. Whenever I go to Repticon or something like that, I'm kind of looking online on my phone, like, okay, so I'm looking at this species. I start figuring out like, is it old world, new world, or like what's the temperament? What do I need to do in terms of enclosures and stuff like that? So I'm always kind of researching why I'm even at Repticon, because there are so many different species of tarantula that can't always keep up. And there's like with pokies, there's like a dozen or more within that genus alone. So right now I've got a Regalis and a Striata. I still want to get a Metallica. And then I also want to get this other one that's it's another one of the baboon family. It's not the OBT. I already have one of those, but I want another one in that species. I do have a Toga Starburst baboon, but there's two that right now I'm probably gonna get going forward. Metallica is the one that's like the kind of bluish and really beautiful looking spider. But again, these are old world, so you have to kind of be very careful and experienced keeper to house them. I would never suggest anyone who's just getting into it go with old world, even though some people say it's just a matter of just being cautious, and it's true. I mean, even as an experienced keeper, you have to be cautious about the tarantulas in general. Like you can have new worlds that will still bite you, and even though their venom is insignificant, it's like their fangs are so big it would hurt like a mother. I have some pretty large new worlds, and I wouldn't want to get bit by them. So, but either way, it just when it comes to experience, you want to, because a lot of these spiders, especially pokies, are very fast. But even like just some other spiders that are just even the bird eaters are very quick. Like I said, the cancerides, I was barely putting the tongs into it. She's like right now it's in this little carrier thing to get a bigger space for her, but I was just barely putting the worm in there, and like she jumped up and got it, almost ran out of it. Like it was just ridiculous. But she was more interested in food at that point than escaping. So but that's just like some species are so quick, and if you're not paying attention, they can get loose. So whenever you're even just kind of transferring them or unboxing, you want to make sure you're in a space where you can control the environment and where they're going to go. Because certainly I'm thinking about my Mysore, which is another one. In fact, I need to move her to a larger one. She's just outgrowing the one she has already. She's a very quick grower. But yeah, in due time, we're getting ready to move. So a lot of that stuff's going to have to wait till I get to the new place. And then I got my room I'm going to set up for all my arachnids and stuff like that. But this is about the Red Island Birdeater. And I got a little video. This is just a guy from Al's Arachnids who he's doing an unboxing, and he's going to be transferring one to a new enclosure that he's got for it. So don't know much about the guy as a keeper, but he's got a pretty nice channel there. But he also has in the video has like little clips of where it explains like just certain things we do know about the Red Island Bird. There's some information there that's you'll find pertinent or interesting about the spider itself. But yeah, let's check out what he's got to say.
Because of this and having to remove this and remove this, so it's not a lot of time, this little one gets stressed out quite a bit by it. So that's my main reason for trying to get into this one, if I can get into this one. So I apologise for the noise in the background. My son watching some on TV that he's not happy with. What is it, buddy? Get what out? Right guys, so I'm back. Let's see how we can get on with this one. I'm not quite sure how it's going to go.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, humidity 65 to 75%. What we do know about the species is like from Dominican Republic, rainforest type areas. It's a terrestrial type, so a lot of times it will, as it's younger, it will kind of burrow, but usually as it gets bigger, it would be more on top of the soil. And it's usually, Takora, even though she hides under her bark piece most of the day, she will come out and wander around a little bit. So you do get to see them, which is very nice. As far as like the temp, like I said, I follow Dave's Little Beasties a lot, and he's got a lot of great information about many varied species. I don't think he even has a video on this particular spider. But he's one thing he's always said: if you're pretty much safe between 70 and 85 degrees for all species, mainly. It's really just a matter about like soil levels with how damp it is or dry it is, arid, etc. Depending on the species. So that's really where you got to keep more an eye on. Humidity, 65 to 75% will work for just about any species, I think. Some might like a little bit more, but I don't think it's going to hurt it if it's, not quite. Because one thing he did say is like spending too much time worrying about numbers can fuck things up too. You don't really want to do that. And since most of these spiders I've been keeping now for about 3 or 4 years, since I got back into it, thanks to Dave's Little Beasties. But I've not had issues with temperature issues or anything like that. The only thing that's going to change at the new place is I'm going to actually get like one of these standalone like oil heaters. Just I need something that's a little bit better at maintaining a certain degree. Like I have this little one over there in this room. It's done the job, but it doesn't really work quite as well as I want. It just, because I'm too busy, I'm trying to always click it either higher or lower to keep it where I want it. But hopefully this other heater I got will save me the trouble and just kind of regulate itself. And since it's going to be in like basically this closet space that I'm using, once I get over to the new place, I'll put some shelves up and everything. Once I get there, it should be able to keep it more regulated inside that room. And this way I don't have to have it hot inside the entire house. Depending on the season. Of course, we're getting close to winter, so this is why any kind of purchasing for teas going forward, I'm waiting until springtime, to do that, because now I'm in Maryland and usually going to, Repticon, there's like a couple different locations I can go to, but now I'm moving like 2.5 hours away, which I won't have access to. So probably will be doing most of my stuff online at this point. But I just have to, it's mostly about just saving money at this point, because usually you can get more bang for your buck going to a Repticon. I have to just see if there's any kind of other show that comes through that area where I'm at. But we'll see how it goes. I'm hoping there is one, because it is a lot better to do it that way. You get your hands on the creature and stuff like that, where you don't take the risk of something happening while it's being shipped.
As you can see, very skittish, this little one. And also likes to attack things, so I think I may use my tongs, just because there's more chance of it. I'm hoping this is pretty much just going to be bend that back a bit. But this is just going to be a little out and in.
Now, see, what I would do is, because obviously he's got this plastic lid container here. When it comes to like trying to move them over, now obviously spiders are very unpredictable, so they can do just about anything, anywhere, and anyhow. And also, depending on the species or how defensive it is, it may come back at you because it's thinking you're trying to attack it rather than just kind of, motion it in. But if you put the plastic lid, if you kept it on top of the container, but slid it back and left a little gap, and then just kind of coax the spider in, even if it jumps in there and goes, it won't come back out because it will bump into the rest of the lid, and then you can kind of just slide the lid back in place and close it up. Or some people, again, one thing that I've been testing that I've seen online is, in this case, you can take like a Coke bottle or a plastic bottle, cut it in half, and then the cap, just drill a hole in it, and you can have like a straw or something soft that you can go in and kind of just capture it, put it inside the container there, the Coke part of it, the bottle part, and then just kind of mush it in and it will go in. So there's different ways of transferring spiders safely and easily, and you don't have to worry about them running all over the place. And sometimes I have to remember to take my own advice. Now, when I get to Shalab, my Mysore, I'm either going to need like a 2-liter bottle because he's so big now, or she is, or I'm going to have to just take a catch cup of sorts like Dave does most of the time and do it that way. But because of the species, how fast it is, I'm probably going to just save one of my 2 liters that I drink my 0 sugar Dr. Pepper out, and then just cut that in half, and then go and then try to use that to capture the spider itself, and then go from there, because it's going to be a lot safer for me to transfer a spider like that, because it is a significant venom and it's old world, and again, I've been at it for 4 years. I have 4 old worlds currently. So I'm not a master at this, but I'm very careful. Like I said, I can't stress it enough. Dave's Little Beasties channel is very good at showing you how to care for spiders safely, calmly. And calmly is the key word, because like I still, like, people don't realize this about me, is I have arachnophobia. And they're like, well, why on earth are you keeping spiders if you are scared of spiders? And I'm like, it helps me overcome it. Plus, them as creatures of the earth are very interesting. They're awesome. They're beautiful. You can say the same thing about sharks. Sharks are predators, but yet beautiful. And it's just one of those things where, obviously I'm not keeping sharks, but spiders are very cool, man. Their purpose, the different species, how they look, how they act. And funny thing about, with old worlds, like, despite the fact that they do possess significant venom, it's also just that a lot of times they would rather just run and run away from you, rather than, even my OBT, if I fuck with her long enough, she gets agitated. But when I first opened up her thing the other day to like give her a cricket, she just scurried back into her hole. Like, she doesn't worry about trying to be aggressive with me unless it's necessarily has to. It's almost like a cornering a badger. If I have to go one day when I have to transfer her to a bigger container, it's going to be a thing. I'm going to have to do the cup thing, because like I can't afford to run into a problem where, I'm trying to do other. I used to have a larger one that I got. Unfortunately, it died. I don't know if I was just lucky. It was a female, but she wasn't massively aggressive till after I got her in a container. Then she kind of, I guess, got territorial. But when I was transferring, she was actually kind of a breeze. I mean, it didn't go quite as well as I wanted, because she actually was kind of crawling out. So I was like, fuck. But she actually just was kind of docile at that point. So once I got her back in, she was fine. But obviously after a while, when I was feeding her, she rears up. She does that thing that so many OBTs does. They just tell you, stay away from me. But let's get back to this guy's little critter here.
As I said before, this one likes to attack things.
Yeah,
so I was kind of expecting that.
So these are new worlds, and one thing they say about birdeaters, Red Island Birdeaters, is that they don't possess significant venom, and they could kick some hairs at you, but the reality is they'd rather bite you. And again, not poisonous. And I've stated this before, that there's never been a recorded history of someone dying from a tarantula bite. But in this case, for this particular spider, it's like, if they're large enough and their fangs enough, like this, like right now, the size of that juvie would probably be like enough to be like a bee sting. Like, it would hurt. No one likes getting stung by anything, rather, and includes getting bit. So the one I have is larger than that, and so just getting bit by them it's not a very fun thing. So, and luckily I haven't had that experience, and I don't want one. But that just shows you this little one is not afraid to defend itself, and it'd rather bite you than kick hair at you. Like, that's the kind of funny thing. So it is not happy.
Great posture is lovely. Alright, let's see if we can go a different way, because he seems to be a little bit ticked off, which I completely understand. If someone was poking me with things, I would be annoyed as well. Right, come on, go that way. Go that way.
Now he is doing something pretty good here. So now the only difference is Dave always says to, once you put your, now he's up front, but he should be towards the back. You want to kind of coax them. So, but Dave always says to keep your brush or whatever you're using to kind of guide them out with total contact at all times. This way they're just kind of going to move. I'm guilty a lot of this of not doing that, because, like, I don't know, I get stupid sometimes. It doesn't really backfire or anything, but I'm not really following the advice that he gives. But either way, it works out okay in the end. But he should be a little bit more towards the back of it, but I guess because it's been giving him defensive posture, he's worried about it turning around on him again. So maybe he's just trying to keep the front towards where the new enclosure is. Thunderbolt.
Sorry.
This one too. This one's got like a bluish color. I don't know if that's how it looks when it's younger. I don't remember mine being quite that blue when I got it, but you know, who knows?
Hold it.
Yeah.
Stop backing up. No.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it does not want. See, and my cancer rides, like that's how it behaves. Like when I go to move it to a larger container, it's gonna probably give me a lot of beef like this. But good news for me is once I get to the new place, I'm buying like an extra long poker. You know those pointers that extend for like when teachers are teaching? That's what I'm getting. Because I don't want, you know, I learned my lesson a little bit with my OBT where my tongs are probably about that long. So I go and I pick up my crickets or my worms and then I'm feeding them. When I was checking on my OBT, she literally, like, because she is defensive, she snapped at the tongs. And like, I thought for a minute she might run up them. And I was like, I would have been fucked, you know, so you don't want that. So yeah, so either you have extra long tongs or whatever, or at least when you're going to move them, you're going to want something with a little bit of length because don't want them to crawl up, because I've seen that happen. My pink toe, pink toe was one of the first tees I ever had as a beginner. It startled me because it jumped on my arm and I was like, oh shit, you know. Luckily nothing bad happened. You know, obviously they're New World and that's actually a very docile species, but they will shit on you and they will jump at you because they're just tree spiders. So they like to jump around and stuff. Jump around, jump up, and get down. I know I was dumb. Whatever.
Right.
There you go, buddy.
Finally. Let's make sure. There it is in its new home. Just walking around. Hopefully you're going to be a lot more happier, a lot less aggressive. But I don't really know.
Well, he's not going to be aggressive. He'll be an aggressive eater. But he's only being defensive because he doesn't want to get moved from where he was to this. I don't know. I mean, I know they're releasing a Thunderbolts movie soon, which looks interesting, but hopefully Marvel doesn't fuck that up.
Let's face it, this is me. I've even had my LP and my Hamori get aggressive, so I kind of expect this. As you can just see the bits of webbing there. There's a bit on the lid. Here somewhere, as you can see it floating around. If I do this. But yeah, as I've said in the past, it's an absolute stunning species. Love this one. In the last video, people, I think there's some facts. So these will show up on the screen as we watch this one a little bit. It starts.
Now I will say this: these containers they're in are fine to keep tarantulas in. I'm not a fan of anything that I can't really see the spiders that well in. However, I know that a lot of keepers that have large quantities of like, in whether they're breeders or what or whatnot, they would have a lot of the spiders and stuff like this. I don't like it because, like I said, I like to see mine on display. I like to see them in glass enclosures. I usually use Exoterra and stuff like that, or Zillow. But currently I do have some of the more plastic ones that I haven't recently gotten replaced, and plus I have like a few males. So males, I don't mind keeping in more standard stuff, because their life expectancy isn't super long. But even if I had the money, I would get them in glass enclosures as well. But they seem to be okay with what they're in so far. But he keeps his in this thing, and I know it's kind of like it's kind of like a medium point to before it goes to another enclosure. But for a species like this, I wouldn't want to keep it in something I couldn't really see it in. I mean, it's not that clear, and I don't know. That's just personal taste. Okay, so there you go. That's just a little bit about a guy that ordered one and he put it in a new home and gave you a little bit of information, but there isn't like a whole lot of information on these particular species. But everything that you have described in terms of temperament and their livability, how they get housed and rehoused, it's about accurate. So he probably could have made life a little easier doing it a different way when he transferred it. But again, everybody has what they're more comfortable with doing. But yeah, so that's it. I know this video went longer than most of the ones I have. It's because I gave some extra information about stuff I haven't really talked about in the past. But hopefully you enjoyed it. I like doing these little spotlights. I don't know what my next one will be yet, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time on the Temperament podcast. Take it easy.